Hey everybody, long time no see. Um, that first run didn't count. There was no intro before. There was no stream attempt. This is the first attempt of the day, and if you say anything otherwise, I will deny it, up and down. Good to see you for real this time. Hopefully, I'm gonna turn on this here tunage, and it hopefully should not make it to the VOD. That is the plan. That is what I did. We shall see. So I'm gonna go ahead and it has come to my attention that a friend of mine in my Discord who has epilepsy um, reached out to me and was like, "Yo, I like this emote. I think it's cute as hell, um, but I can't look at it too long without my head hurting." This one right here. Right, it's a little. This is how it is in its current state, right? And it's just a little bit too abrasive to sort of. It looks like it's flashing from a distance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just smooth it out a little bit so that I'm not hurting anybody with the use of a animated emote. So we'll just give that a shot. Um, I am using a different computer this time than the MacBook that I usually use. Because we just realized it's too fucking laggy. It's not strong enough to handle what I want to do. I pretty much have to use it for Music Monday because Logic is built into the laptop. But for the purpose of Visual Wednesday, we're trying something new today, trying a new computer. That has not caused any problems whatsoever, in case you were wondering. Um, but let me go ahead and try to diminish this smear frame a little bit. Get some onion skins going. Oh, I already duplicated it. My bad. So I'm just gonna do a slighter smear frame here, and it should work nicely. How's your day going so far, everybody? Doing good, feeling good? I'm gonna update the Twitch link in my Discord because let me just back up and running. There we go. Perfect. By the way, Animort, congrats again on reaching affiliate. That's very exciting stuff. Let's do this. Delete, delete. Here we go. One, two. Buckle my shoe. Alright, I believe we were here. Yeah, that looks right. Magic. Meep, meep. Yeah, even just looking at it right now, I can see a significant reduction in lag from what I'm used to on the other computer. So I think this is a good setup. Sorry, I'm a little bit low energy today. Uh, just a little tired, I guess. Maybe didn't get enough sleep. Yeah, I think this is going to be a lot less abrasive to more visually sensitive people, which is good. Honestly, the smear was a little bit off before anyway. If I'm looking at it really with intense scrutiny, it's a lot. It needed a little bit of tuning anyway. I think it was funny before, like it was nice and snappy, but apparently it was a little too snappy. That's okay. We're all about accessibility here. I want to make sure that my art can be perceived by everyone without uh, any problems being caused. You know what I mean? It's like uh, The Incredibles 2 is a great movie. I would say that the main problem with the movie itself was that it was not The Incredibles 1. Like that literally that's it just because Incredibles was so fucking strong as a movie. One of my favorite Disney movies, one of my favorite Pixar movies, just my favorite movies in general. Super fucking strong cast. Love the lore, love the characters. Um Looked great for its time, still holds up. Villain's great. But yeah, Incredibles 2 was fantastic. But like you couldn't if I'm getting fucked up by the visual effects that they're using, I can't even imagine trying to watch that movie if you have epilepsy. I think it's just not. It's just Seizure City, you know what I mean? Oh, there's a lot of flashing lights, and that's like that's baked into this. Like you can't do it without the visual effects that they used. I can see why they did it. Okay, don't look. That's a lot of actual blinking because the head just disappears. Okay, here we go. But yeah, I don't want to do anything similar to that where it's like, God, this movie's so great. It's a shame that if you have any kind of like any kind of visual issues, you'd just never be able to experience it or have to like cower or shade your eyes when you're perceiving it. Welcome back from the ad break. Those just getting here. Friendly reminder that if you subscribe, you do not have to experience ads of any kind. But no pressure. I just mute it if I'm not subscribed to a channel. They usually have it on the TV. And I usually tell the streamer in question that, hey, you're on TV. So that's it feels nice, you know. Maybe less of a big deal now than it was in the age before smartphones. Back in my day, because everybody's on TV a little bit these days, right? If you have a phone, you have the option of just recording yourself doing it. I grabbed groceries today. I got two apples, a pear, and three bananas. Right? Like you could do. It's just like my wife and I were just talking about this yesterday, where it's like, it's a story that's like it was mortifying for the person, right? But they shared it, right? And we were talking about like one person on social media a while back was just like bring back secrets just as a concept. And I just thought it was very funny and very accurate, honestly. It's we're at a place in culture, right, where it's it's a commoditization of the human experience. Everything has become content because the powers that be encourage the commoditization of everything, right? And so that's just what's happening. It's like the pace and manner at which we're kind of forced to make content means that you kind of don't have a choice if you are an influencer, quote unquote. Like the fact that we're grading on that curve, where that's people's career is to just kind of exist. It makes it so that you kind of if you're in for a penny, you're kind of in for a pound, and you gotta just kind of like lean into that cellophane reality where you're just advertising this, this it's this sort of like vapid materialistic situation. Anyway, old man rant aside, I think this is gonna look. I think this is gonna be less painful. I'm all about accessibility in media. If people got a situation that's occurring involuntarily and physically from something that I make, please let me know. I can't promise that I'll be able to change or adjust everything, but things that I have direct control over, things that are, like smaller scale, like these emotes and stuff like that, I can definitely adjust. There we go. I really, really want them to update Procreate Dreams. I'm probably going to say that at least once per animation stream, but there's a lot of concepts in there, a lot of ideas that I think could make it my favorite program. It's just not fully baked, and the second that it is, I cannot wait to try out some shit, dude. I'm telling you, it's gonna be so neat. Gonna be so nifty neat. This looks like the right size for the pencil. Yeah, yeah. Dancing to the music. Okay, a little bit of you. Ah, I see. Right, yeah, yes, very, very good. So agreeable. Okay, I think we're in business there. Let's get a little bit of little whites into his peepers. All right. So y'all might be aware, because whoops, because I mentioned it in a previous stream. Um, my birthday's coming up really fast. Um, and I always get a little weird around my birthday, and I don't know where that exactly comes from. I think it partially comes from just kind of being a people pleaser and like wanting to generally wanting to put my own needs further back on the in the priority list, you know what I mean? I'm very big on not being a burden or imposing on people. Like I it's very inconvenient for a musician to just not want to be perceived or not want to make noise, you know, stuff like that. But it is absolutely true for me. And my wife's been, you know, invaluable trying to get me over my weird bullshit, that stuff included. But like, especially around my birthday, I feel that kind of shit cropping up, where it's like, oh well, don't worry about me. I don't want to fucking, I don't want anybody to worry about me or anything like that, right? Um, yeah, I don't know what's up with that shit. I'm grooving. Let me see. I think I might actually need to make the hairline come down a little bit. If you don't know about Lewis Cole, you're missing out. He's a funny dude, but also like incredible. I've sung his praises on stream before. I don't think it's nothing new. Make sure the hair moves the way that it should in relation to everything else. Yeah. I've been it's been kind of coming to my attention that just the depth of how out of practice I am from a performance perspective, from a performance standpoint in music. Because I used to practice literally every day, like in college and shit. Like I used to just always have my guitar on hand, and if I had a spare moment, I sorry about the flashing there. I would just, like sit with my guitar and I'd knock out some scales. I'd practice a little bit. Took it with me everywhere I went to work, you know. And ironically, now that I have more time in the world, not having a full-time job as I used to, I've been working on music less. I mean, part of it is, you could say part of it is because I've been, you know, doing more visual art than music, but like I've been doing a lot of video games and shit too, you know what I mean? So it's definitely time to get back into it. And a lot of the time when I'm like, if I've spent too long away from music, especially guitar, which is my main instrument, I I end up just tuning it differently, just tuning the guitar to a different tuning, and then like, I feel like I create best when there is a sort of emphasis on discovery in anything that I'm doing. I love like being able to fuck around and then subsequently find out, right? Um, so the simple sort of mixing up of the palette, as it were, of tuning an instrument, uh, it often ends up being stimulating enough to inspire me to create more. And funnily enough, I have been sort of like trying to dial into D major 7 as an open tuning. So my entire guitar is built around, like D major 7 is the D major 7 chord. I love the chord. I use it in a lot of songs and stuff like that. And I was like, this is my voice. I'm gonna figure out how to do this. And I was like, I've been doing, having at least one guitar in D major 7 open tuning for like years. And the simple act of changing my 8 string back to standard tuning, I was like, oh my God, this is so comfortable. What the fuck? Why can I still play this? It's like, that's how I learned. And that's the majority of what I played for like a decade, over a decade, is standard. So, like riding a bike, it stuck around. Um, and going back to defaults inspired me, like, to get back into it in a more meaningful way, as opposed to like. So it's kind of funny that it came kind of full circle, right? That goes in, that goes out. Here we go. So I'm probably gonna slow this down. I think maybe it's a little too pronounced still. Make sure that rim is still there. This artist is called FKJ, which stands for French Kiwi Juice, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's funny. bigger. There we go. So what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna attempt to just remove the smear, which is not my usual MO, but I just got to be realistic here. The motion isn't that huge, so it honestly isn't super necessary. It's just a matter of taste, right? There we go. I don't know about you guys. I'm super momentum based in almost every circumstance. Like, I often need a lot of warm up, a lot of wind up, a lot of stuff to. Ah, it looks like it's cat food time. So I will be right back. That's right, little baby. I know you want some food. All right. You want to say hi to the camera, Maeve? Come here, baby. Come here, baby. Come here. There we go. Oh, that's my baby girl. That's my baby girl. She likes to put her little dirty paw on my face. That's okay. What do you think, Maeve? What do you think? It's my baby kitty. It's my little baby kitty. All right, let's get some food. Yeah? Yeah, you want some food? Let's get you some food. She's purring a little bit. She's so cute. All right, I'll be right back. Yeah. All right. Do, 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 do. Sorry about that. Good to have you back. Good to have me back. Good to be back. Music back. Cat is fed. We're doing good. Everything's doing good. All right, let's get this back up and running. How's the music volume sounding for y'all versus my voice? Looks pretty good on the levels thing. Just making sure. There we go. A little too. Need the motion to be a little bit less exaggerated than I had it before. And after I finish this, which should be pretty soon, because I'm basically only really doing or adjusting one frame, I'm going to be doing something for a friend of mine. A little animated emote commission, which is great. It's exciting. It's the first of its first that I've had of those, so I'm looking forward to it. Smaller, smaller. Oh yeah. All right. I think the map actually moves a little bit too much on this one. So I'm not bent out of shape about having a chance to adjust this a little bit, you know what I mean? Should actually stay almost exactly in the same spot. Song's so fun. Okay. Let's get the rest of these color layers back in. It's looking pretty good, I think. It's almost the same, but I can see the difference between this version and the excuse me, previous version. It's at 20. That's a 24. At this point, the only thing I can do is check with people who are affected by, epilepsy, anything like that. I'm basically just kind of like adjusting it until it no longer fucks with people. This is its counterpart. That one looks okay. Every time I show my wife this smear frame, she loses her mind because it's so fucking funny. Look at it. So, yeah, I think that works. Yeah, I think it's good. All right, now moving on to this right here. So, yeah, man, it's all good. I think it's just you anyway, so it's a pretty slow day. So don't worry about it, man. You y'all come back now here, but yeah, take care of business. Much love, dude. See you soon. Got my skull and crossbones mug today. It's fucking huge. I think this is, I don't know if this is 20 ounces or something more. It's a lot of caffeine, and whatever it is, it's probably not enough right now, as you can tell. It's really low energy. I don't know. I think I just got the wrong amount of sleep. When you get enough hours, but it like theoretically you have enough hours, but not in the right arrangement. So you end up feeling like you're behind, even though you're like numbers wise, you're good to go. I don't know. It's kind of odd. Oh yeah, that's right. I should put the word out other places too. It's a couple places I forgot to announce my shit. And it's mostly with other like small streamers and content creators and stuff like that. So I don't know how many people are gonna be all right. All right. Oh, another advantage to this setup is you might not see it just yet, but look, my headphones are glowing because I actually have enough inputs to freaking plug them in. So that's pretty cool. What I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna duplicate this just as sort of like a little bit of insurance. And then I'm gonna go here. I don't know if you guys uh, are familiar with the inspiration. You seen this GIF where I think it's an emote as opposed to an emoji, which is I don't know if they're specifically the ones from Mexico, but emote I know for a fact that one of my friends from Mexico called them emote. Right? It's this kind of art style, that kind of like clean but cartoony and a little bit exaggerated. Like there's just the right amount of cheese on it. Um, but I'm fairly certain that's what this one is. It's the one that where the guy's like, and then someone made it like disintegrate over time. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I remember. What's up, Mar? Good to see you, bud. So I'm making a custom version of this GIF for a friend. So he wanted it with a specific. This is my drawing, and I'm gonna over the course of this stream, hopefully, um, disintegrate it. So, but thanks for joining, man. Good to see you. Let's see. Let's create a mask real quick. Let's see if this works. Yeah, I think I have to flatten it. Okay. Let's remove that and create the mask for that. I'm probably just going to use alpha log, honestly. Oh, it's clipping math. There we go. That's what I wanted. So, these are some of my favorite brushes. I think probably the best way to do this would be with the pressure shader. And it kind of turns like this like really dark brown. I'm gonna see if let's see how that looks. I need a certain amount of opacity, so let's maybe try the vine charcoal. That looks to be like the perfect effect. Just need to make sure it's the right size. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna duplicate each frame. Clear that. And then what it'll end up having is theoretically, a very gradual darkening, and then I'm going to work on it disappearing. I think this is the color I used for, yeah, perfect. Make sure that's perfectly clear. So yeah, I'm just going to do one swipe at a time, and eventually it should be a nice effect. Too much. So the way that you animate in Procreate is very similar to the way you animate in Photoshop. It takes all of the layers, all these groups in the layer menu, and it turns them into separate frames. Theoretically, if I changed one of the group names to frame 1 or whatever, it would procedurally change them to like frame 1, frame 2 as I progressed, but the way that it works with different groups ends up kind of conflicting with that. So we're at 15. Let's see if it works at 24. Yeah, that'll work perfectly. So okay. Duplicate. It's funny. Speaking of AC as an armored core, the reason I figured out how to use the clipping mask function in Procreate that I'm using right here is from figuring out the image editor in AC6, figuring out the masking and stuff like that there. So it's kind of funny how that works out. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you're wasting your time if you're creating something. You know what I mean? Because you never know how the skills that you are building are going to be able to transfer to other shit you might work on later. 1, 2, 3. Hope your day's going well, Mar. You prefer Mar or a different abbreviation or anything like that? So I will adjust as needed. Mara Marcus, cool. Cool, cool. Okay, go. I think it gets a little bit too aggressive there, but because of the way that I set it up, I can just erase a little bit. What are we at? Hey, I think we're at 5. That works just fine. Oops. Here we go. There we go. This is the first stage, and this is objectively the easy part. Cool. And I'm a little bit paranoid from doing so much in Procreate and everything like that, because it's very difficult to go back. It's very difficult to adjust things once they're past a certain level of completion. So I usually, if I get to a stopping place in an animation, I usually create a duplicate, and then if I fuck it up, I have sort of a lifeline and a way out. Okay. So it's right about here that it starts dissolving in the original. I think I might have to make that a little bit smaller or use a different brush. Let's see. Think this is probably the best way to do it. We will see though. Make that yet smaller. Although I think the grains are about the same size no matter what, so we'll see. I need to actually look it up. Disintegrating GIF. All right. Disintegrating GIF. Okay, this is gonna be tough, but very funny. So I think I have to. I'm gonna have to do this in a different color, all at one color, and then manually make this motherfucker disintegrate. So we'll see what happens. Let's just make a new layer for each of these. Right about there. I might even do it at 12 because I think that's where it is. That looks more accurate. But it doesn't look as good to me, so let's go back to 24. Let's see. The angle could probably be a little bit more vertical, but I think it gets the point across, which is the most important thing. So basically, right as it gets to the hands, I'm going to start the sort of deconstruction. I'm probably going to have to do this in about 3 layers. So I'm going to pick some nice, conspicuous colors. So this will work no matter what. That's good. Hmm. Clearly I have onion skin on. Oh, there we go. That's good. Okay. Welcome back from ad hell. Ad break should be over now. Good to have you back. Still trying to figure out what is best for me to actually make a little bit of money from ad revenue while also like not tormenting people. Technically, if you subscribe, you won't have to worry about that, but like, you know, it is also like kind of like a common decency thing. It's like I don't want people to have to sit through like a shit ton of ads beyond a certain point. You know what I mean? It's like 5 minutes is a lot, but they're like, "This is the only way you're gonna make money." I'm like, well, we'll see, man. But yeah, if you want no ads, if you have the capacity to subscribe, you're more than welcome to go for it. You also get a shit ton of fun little emotes that I made by hand to I made all these by hand. And you get access to them anywhere you go if you subscribe. A redeem that gives ads? Hmm. As in like a point redemption that causes the ads to start? I don't feel like listening to that right now. Oh, interesting. So that like when people are about to go to the bathroom or something, they're just like, "Here you go, man. Here's my money." That's a good idea. I'll think about that. Thank you. Yeah, I'm very new to Twitch. Just made affiliate, which is great, but like all of the inner workings and shit is completely lost on me. Redeem that gives ads. I asked it a little bit earlier, but no one was really here. Anybody in chat looking forward to tomorrow? Not looking forward to tomorrow? Ambivalent about tomorrow? Just curious what people's situations are. No need to go too in depth if you're not comfortable. Just curious. Because I know it's a big deal for some people in good ways and bad ways. Okay, I think I'm going to need to hold that together a little bit harder. I'll just do it like that, make it break apart like so. Just got to connect it to make the disintegration mean a little bit more. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's how I see it as well. Just looking forward to the food. Can miss me with all that other bullshit. I just want to eat, man. I'm making a lot. I'm making homemade cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes. Probably gonna use some buttermilk in those. I really enjoyed it last time I did that. Uh, I'm helping with the brine for the turkey. Doing some other shit in the oven. Anyway, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be tasty. Yeah, I think this will work really well. Hmm. Probably foolish to do this at 24 FPS, but I need as much practice as I can get because I just have not been animating as much as I should, honestly. Really, really quick to get uh, rusty. It's a very demanding art form. Super fulfilling, though. It's just a natural progression from drawing to, you know what I mean? It's like the next step. It's like, oh yeah, you like drawing? Get ready to do that like fucking thousands of times for a specific effect. Doot, doot, doot. Make it a little smaller. Setting up too consistently square. I'm starting it small because that's the dimensions that the Twitch emotes and stuff want to be. Twitch and Discord. Also, the original is very low resolution, so it kind of has the same vibe if I keep it low fidelity. At some point, I'm gonna have him maybe pick up speed. Move to a new setup, a new computer, um, as opposed to what I typically use to stream art stuff. And I hope that I properly set up the music to play on a different channel that is not acknowledged by Twitch, for example. Um, but we'll see. We shall see. So this first layer, I'm basically gonna do like I'm gonna try to keep it down to like three of the same layer, or of a similar effect, I should say. This is let's see here, disintegrating. This is it's that uh GIF on Discord and shit like that. My buddy uses it all the time, and so he wanted basically a version of it with like some shit from his OC on it, and I was like, hell yeah, dude, let's make it happen. So it commissioned me, and here we are. There we go. When you're navigating over an animation like this, just sliding back and forth, it's called scrubbing, by the way. I think that's kind of funny. Gotta keep your animations clean, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think I need to, yeah, I need to block off kind of different segments for this guy based on which part is kind of dissolving. Here we go. Oh shit. It's going to be basically like a roll off. And then each of these sections are going to dissolve at a different rate. That is the plan. And keep these at a different, each on different layers so that I can make each of them visible or invisible as needed. Making like a little Neapolitan situation here. Okay. All right. That'll disintegrate. That'll disintegrate too. This will definitely help me stay on track for what disappears when. Animation's such an interesting combination of like potentially frustrating and relaxing because it's very, very relaxing and zen, you know, and just kind of like plugging away, right? And then the second you hit a snag or something doesn't look right, it's like, what the fuck is going on? Because there's a lot of stuff that's like that, but I feel like it's especially crazy for animation. Like you notice every difference. It's so sensitive, it's so delicate, right? Like if you fuck anything up, it's like really you notice it immediately. Let's make these invisible. And now we're just gonna focus entirely on the path that these little blue guys are taking. And eventually the whole thing is going to come together. I hope I have enough layers for all this. Hold on, let me check something. I think because the document itself is so minuscule, it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, yeah, we got thousands of layers. It is really not a problem. That's great. Another perk to working small. It's really ending up very square, these little shapes I'm trying to make. Starting to piss me off. Oh, man. Just when it's at this size, it ends up getting kind of blocky, I guess. There it goes again. If I make a circle, it makes a square. I guess I could switch to Studio Pen because it does make rounder shapes and I'm working this small anyway, right? Yeah, that's working all right. For the actual detail work, I'll switch back to that brush, which is my favorite. I do as much as I can with stock brushes, like the ones that are included, but one of my absolute favorites is from the it's called the Tsvetka ink brush and pen set, watercolor and ink pens. They really did a great job making kind of feel closer to traditional pen and ink in some ways, and I like that. I'm gonna have to do this, have that fly away in a specific way. Go. Oh boy, getting raptured a little bit. Yeah, it's starting to look pretty good. Clear that. Gotta make it from scratch every time. I don't feel like listening to that right now. No, thanks. There we go. I'll take that. This is kind of exactly what I need right now. It's kind of a slightly tedious but relaxing repetitive task. Let me add one more onion skin frame. Oh, that actually looks gross. Makes it harder to see what the fuck I'm doing. All right. Maybe a little bit too big on that one, but it's fine. They fluctuate a little bit on size. It'll kind of add to the fluttering effect as they disperse. At least that's the hope. Supposed to go that way. There we go. Let's scrub a little bit. And the idea is going to be to shade each of these individually with the same kind of like dark. It's like shades of black, basically. So, how long I carry on with this section, the sort of lower part, the blue disintegrating, that'll determine the. When I stop doing this portion, that's when the piece will end. That will be the determining factor for its actual length and the timing of it and stuff like that. So it's starting to pick up speed and go straight up now. Not too much speed though. Don't want it to look unnatural or jerky. Pretty direct dispersion there. Mhm. I think 3 or 4 more frames and that'll do it. Starting to look pretty good. Just gonna have to do that about 20 more times. That's all right. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep adding frames at this point until it looks right. That's how we do it. Oops. Oh wait, was I right? I was right. Oh, that's good. Picking up speed now. So the distance between these little orbs is further apart. Fortunately, the distance between each orb is kind of similar to the distance from one orb to the other, so it ends up looking a little bit confusing, level of overlap that I'm getting and stuff like that. That's okay. Further. Let's see how it looks. See how accurate that is. I think it's just going a little bit too fast, so I'll add one more frame. And I kind of like the look that comes from making it look good at a faster rate and then slowing it down, because that is like almost exactly dead on what the actual GIF that I'm using as inspiration moves like. Not in the mood for you right now. I'll take that though. Right? Yeah, it must be right. So what I'm doing right here is I'm using onion skin. That's the word for the sort of slightly transparent images of each layer before and after the one that I'm on right now. That's what that's called. A lot of traditional animators don't necessarily use them. I find it very helpful. I personally really like it, and I think it's very necessary for my particular style of animation because usually it depends on a lot of smear frames and stuff, squashing and stretching and stuff that is a hell of a lot more achievable when you have the before and after. So before or after, I see. That jumps a little too hard there. Hmm. Okay, just about there. Two things a human eye is very, very good at is counting and tracing arcs. And what you do when you're animating is one of the things you're doing when you're animating is you're kind of gamifying and taking advantage of that natural mechanism, that natural tendency of human perception. It's very fun. So I noticed that every once in a while I accidentally added one of these little blips. And so I'm kind of reverse engineering that, making sure that everyone that I add a counterpart, make sure that it doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. And there are a few that I'm going to miss, but with the eventual effect of everything dispersing in layers, it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, let's move on to the next layer up, the sort of purple. So I'm going to adjust the transparency of this one to 30 so I know where it is, but I'm not tripping over it every single time. Stop right there for the blue. Oops, wrong color. Should probably leave that the same just until a few frames in, and then I can start dissolving that too. Just about there. nose is itchy, man. This into a couple little shapes. Yep, yeah, we're doing emotes today. Welcome to the chat, Eloquent Piggy. Good to have you. Not sure if you're in. Oh no, 2 minutes until ad hell starts, so that's good. You didn't show up right in the middle of one. Good to see you, bud. Skip work today. I feel like you got hit by a bus. I'm sorry to hear that. Um, it's very much a low energy stream today, so I got my sort of moving and grooving vivacious playlist going, trying to hammer down some coffee. That's what I'm talking about. It means a lot, by the way. But yeah, I was saying earlier, I think I got the like I got enough hours on paper as sleep goes, but in terms of like the actual arrangement, I got the wrong like position of sleep. You know what I mean? Like the cycle was weird or some shit. So I'm just like, well, yeah, it's definitely a vibey stream. So you came to the right place. So this emote, I'm working on the. I don't know if you've seen, the disintegrating, like, kind of corny emoji that was made. There might be something in the cosmos. I mean, I think it's just the dread of like hanging out with family on the heels of um that thing that happened earlier this month. Um, Not getting into it too much, but trying to keep the vibes light. But yeah, my buddy Sentinel, I should actually hit him up and be like, I'm making your emote. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of getting sandwiched between all that and birthday birthday coming up next week, which is great, but also, oh boy, yeah, just family's complicated. The older you get, the more complicated it gets, and it's just annoying, you know. Even if you guys get along fantastically, if you're dealing with a lot of people, a lot of moving parts, and like it's like a special occasion or whatever, it makes sense that it would be just like, ugh, you know? And it is definitely for me. But yeah, it's a happy thing that my birthday's coming up, but I mentioned this earlier. I'm definitely like I don't like imposing on people. I'm definitely like a people pleaser by nature, often to my self detriment, you know? Oh boy. Oh, so it's like a Clash of the Titans situation where your family is meeting your in-laws like on a more in a more extended capacity. Oh boy. That's going to be interesting and not in a good way. You have my condolences and my blessings. Good luck to you, bud. But yeah, I just like I don't like imposing on people. I don't like, I like providing for people. I don't like know what to do with being provided for, you know? So even though everybody's being super cool, my wife is making such like an amazing array of goodies and tasty treats, which is my favorite thing. I just like don't really know what to do with myself, you know? Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that. People want to celebrate you. There's no imposition. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just like I don't know. It's weird. Frame allowing people to celebrate you as providing something for them. I like that. I'm gonna put a little dog ear in that. Try to keep that in mind. I think streaming is helping with that already to a certain extent. It's like, well, y'all wouldn't be here if you didn't enjoy watching me do whatever I'm doing or hanging out with me, so. I think it's disintegrating a little too fast, so I'll just add a little bit more bulk in here. Oh, get out of here, man. Alright, I'll get mod view on my fucking stupid ass goddamn phone. This bot out of here. This is the joys of making affiliate, you know what I mean? I guess they would show up no matter what. Oh, you got him? Oh, thanks. I didn't even know you were awake. Thanks, Mox. You don't worry about it, baby. You get some rest, all right? Yeah, yeah. You just stay asleep. Don't worry about it, honey. I appreciate your help. Oh yeah, I'm gonna hit up Sentinel and let him know I'm working on it. Maybe he'll stop by and have a little bit of fun. Where are you? I'll find him. There we go. All right. I'm gonna go back to Studio Pen because it's a little bit easier to make round shapes. The only problem usually is the fact that the outlines are a little bit softer and more transparent, but in this case, that's actually a benefit, honestly. Yeah, sometimes a slow day is not a bad thing. I used to work at cafes, a lot of solo shifts. I used to busk, play music just out in public, waiting for, tips or listeners or anything like that. And sometimes there's something kind of relaxing about kind of like a public solitude. You're like, the world is just kind of passing by around you, and you're a placid passenger. Something serene about it. I'm fucking glowing because of the white screen. Ah. But yeah, it's like technically I am entertaining, but I'm just kind of doing my own thing. Yeah, love being alone at theme parks, museums, aquariums, things like that. Yeah, like just the sort of ambience washing over you and feeling like a piece of the background, but not like you're being overshadowed, like you're just kind of like one tile in a mosaic or a snippet in a collage. Yeah, exactly. I love doing it with people too, but it's special alone. I feel like um, you I'm sure have a similar perspective to me in being a theater kid, right? But it's like I don't know if it's just being a theater kid or some element of my particular idiosyncrasies or neurodivergence, but there is a certain level of engagement that happens reflexively, a a knowledge of perception, like being perceived, I should say, that you cannot turn off and you cannot help but augment your actions even in a very infinitesimal way, right? Where it's like I know I'm being seen and your performer's instinct kind of just naturally like slots into your face like some kind of mask. Super interesting. So like not beholding to anybody, not the awareness that you are completely in the clear and you are not being perceived in any way. There's something kind of pure about that, and it's you can't replicate it with other people. Like you can get close if you're with a partner for longer than a certain time. What it feels kind of like. You're just so used to each other's company and vibing near or around each other that like it's chill no matter what, but there's still an element of being perceived and a lack of onlyness or loneliness, right? So what I'm essentially doing right now is a manually constructed particle effect. Dude, fuck yeah. Appreciate you stopping by. But yeah, it's like I feel like I'm a big fan of I always say bittersweet is my favorite flavor. The sort of melancholic rainy day sensation that you can't really get. Like it's kind of like a transient fleeting emotion, and I find myself kind of addicted to it. Try not to sound pretentious or like edgy or anything, but I'm being completely earnest. It's just like big fan of sort of melancholy, bittersweet music, imagery, everything. You know what I mean? It feels at home. I like major seven chords. I like rainy weather. Just like shit that kind of conveys that energy or vibe. I feel like resonates with me super hard. Dude, isn't it? What's up, buddy pal? Kind of a low energy day, just kind of creating a little oasis of chill vibes. I know a lot of people are stressed right now, including myself. Um, but I am making an emote for my dear friend Sentinel, who commissioned this for me a little while back, and I'm finally getting the chance to finish it. Don't know if I'll be able to finish it before the stream ends, but yeah, that's what we're doing in a nutshell. I'm doing some manual particle effects as we speak. We're talking about the sort of pleasant melancholy of being alone in public. That's probably the best way to paraphrase the conversation that we were just having in chat. Um, like Are you partial to particles? Are you particular to particles? Fuck yeah, dude. Um, it's just it's a very relaxing thing to be working on right now because it's like, I think I've never actually had the pleasure of playing in a live band. I know you have, isn't it? Um, but this is kind of how I've been viewing it recently, where it's like if you're really like you got your chops up and you're in practice, it's basically like you just have the best seat in the house, right? And you're watching the music build around you, right? That's kind of what I'm doing right now. My arms are just kind of vibing, and my hands are just moving involuntarily. You're particular about particles, you know? You've come to the right place. But like, yeah, I'm just watching the circles move, man. I'm working at a particularly low resolution because that's where Discord and Twitch emotes are comfortable. So you might feel right at home right here, isn't it? I know you are a wizard pixel artist. Pixel art's such a fucking cool art form. So much respect for all my friends that are into it and do such a good job. I think that's probably yeah, exactly. I was literally about to say me and Mox. It's coming together. I'm still trying to decide. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to actually shade each of these little particles or if I'm just kind of gonna kind of let them be flat black color or whatever I'm substituting black with at any given time. In this case, it's that kind of like navy blue situation. Keeping all these layers at different colors so that it's easier to separate them as I am adding new little moments. Probably gonna take a bio break fairly soon. I usually do it right at the halfway point, 2:30, but I kind of started a little late today. That's a little too much for me right now. It was actually you who recommended Screaming Headless Torsos to me, so I'm kind of remiss to skip it while you're in chat, isn't it? But it's just a little past the threshold that I have in me right now. Smile in a wave. That sounds so fucking crazy. I love it so much. But as I was saying, I'm probably going to, considering I started stream a little bit late, a couple little hiccups. I'm probably going to take a break a little bit after 2:30 this time. There we go. Remember when this song was literally everywhere? Moxie's like straight up asleep right now. She's had kind of a rough couple of days. Needs to recuperate. Body is so angy. There we go. It's really easy to start losing count and to get kind of mixed up at this stage with this many little parts. I think if I was doing like this on a professional capacity, like say if it was just like my job is to be like an actual like animator in a fully fledged production, I'd probably separate it into yet further multiple layers. I'm gonna come over there and be like, "Hey, buddy, stop it." It's like Freakazoid. Hey, Cut it out. Okay. All right. There we go. So much fun to watch. Kind of starts jumping. I know it's good for it to pick up speed, but it is a little bit intense. I might add a couple more frames in there and rearrange it a little bit, but you know what? It's fine. Still trying to decide what I actually want to do for my birthday stream. I've had a couple of ideas, but it's hard to determine at this point which of them are good, like really like exactly what I want. I was just saying earlier I'm not exactly dialed into what I want at most times because I don't enjoy prioritizing myself very much. I'm getting better at it, and it is almost exclusively through encouragement and advocacy from my wife, which is much appreciated. But yeah, it's just like, it's rough, you know? Whoop. Oh, yes. Little circules. Circuitous circles. Circling each other. Alright. Right. So theoretically, that would be rolling off. I'll turn on the opacity in the other layers, and we'll see how it looks all together, and then I will take a little break. There we go. Oops. Really picking up speed right at the end there, and I think I am going to try it out at 12 FPS, basically half speed because that is very close to the source material, as I may have mentioned previously on stream. Did you guys work any jobs with solo shifts at any point? Going back to the conversation of kind of a pleasant, almost melancholic solitude, being alone, but also in public, having the context of possible perception, but being aware that you are not perceived in any capacity. I've worked closing shifts just embody that, but like especially if you're doing a solo closing shift. Like I was working at a cafe at some point between hospitality gigs when I was just like, man, to hell with this corporate shit, right? I'm gonna try to actually be like a fucking musician, man. I'm gonna be like I'm gonna dye my hair, I'm gonna paint my nails, I'm gonna do it up, right? And like, I ended up so depressed just from the juxtaposition of being like in a professional way and making money and shit like that and going back to cafe shit that I just didn't make much music even during that time. I did play at the cafe I was working at for a while, but yeah, it's I wasn't like pursuing it like I am like I should have been and like I could probably be doing more of now. It's always easy to say I could be doing more, you know what I mean? I'm doing more than I was before, and I'm gonna keep picking up speed. That's the hope. Mm. A few times working at the theme park, when I was working decor, and I was alone at night making 60 Christmas wreaths and hanging them, and it was very weird. Yeah, all the lights were on, but no music or sounds or people having fun. That is literally the textbook definition of a liminal space. Like you were in the eye of a liminal hurricane, basically. That's fucking crazy. I could barely imagine how crazy the vibe must have been. It's like just dead quiet in a place that is always vivacious. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Man. It's looking pretty good. Look at that. So, I'm basically doing a roll off of different layers, and each of them are going to be following the same general path of. I might even time it a little differently so that it waits, but I'll have to see how it looks. When I was in the crafting room, it was fine, but walking out into the theme park amongst the rides felt wrong. Absolutely. Oh man, that sounds so fucking creepy. Okay, so that seems like the perfect time for me to take a little break. My pencil's at 10% anyway. I guess I could try putting on the BRB screen with the Spotify. Let's see if that works. I'll just turn off the music. Yeah, that's working. All right, folks. I will see you shortly. I will be right back. Okay. OW and also D. Had to step out, will return. That's cool. Cool, isn't it? Plug my shit back in. Even with this different computer setup, which has been going a lot better, I still cannot charge my iPad and animate with it at the same time, which is a problem. But little break makes it okay. It's a long ass song. It was going the entire time I was on break. Okay. Shazam, Shazab. I think I'm going to stagger that just a little bit. Maybe. See, this is the reason that I actually think Procreate Dreams is a great program. Is the fact that if I wanted to make the timing of the second layer, the pink one or the purple one there, if I wanted to delay that a smidge, I could just do it without having to delete layers and shift stuff around manually. It would be great. It would be great, but it isn't. It just needs more time in the oven, you know. All right, on to the next section. Let's make each of these 30 opacity. I also have to do this manually for everything instead of it being all along the same, track. Everything being edited at the same time, the same moves and everything. I mean, the fact that Procreate itself even has an animation feature is crazy and amazingly convenient. But yeah, it is definitely not. It is definitely made for art first and foremost, and animation as a distinct second. There we go. Let's do 24 again. It's my favorite. Yeah, that'll work. This is what we're working with here. And that should be the same for a few frames even after the purple layer starts to deconstruct itself. Bop, bop. Right about there, I think it should start separating. There we go. Whoop. Keep it a little bigger. Little bubbles, little slaps. Oh yes. Just put that back there. This is gonna be a little bit tough. Keep it fast and loose and then get specific after you get that first layer down. That's what I'm doing right now. Whoops. I think this will work. I do. There we go. Hmm. There we go. I think I'm just gonna have to make these completely invisible at this point, and then we'll just make them visible again after we're done disintegrating. Non-subscribers, I will see you in about 10 seconds. Friendly reminder that if you don't want ads, you're more than welcome to subscribe. Please, I need money. I'll see you soon. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Anyone not subscribed? Good to see you. Hope you had a very informative ad break. One of the advantages to me doing things in layers like this, sort of like the roll off that I'm doing from almost the sediment layer by sediment layer of the image itself that I'm dividing it up into and then subsequently, disintegrating. One of the advantages is the fact that with each layer that I work on, it is fewer frames by one or two. So I feel like the momentum building very tangibly, and I like that. Glad I switched to the studio pen for this because it is definitely more comfortably round at this resolution. Doesn't just default into like I want to make squares, father. Let me make goddamn squares. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I keep getting these different ads and whoop, keep getting all these different ads and reels and stuff like bringing dessert for Thanksgiving. Fuck shitty old pumpkin pie. Here's some other ideas. Fuck you. I love pumpkin pie. I wait all year to eat pumpkin pie. I agree with you, Maximoff. Pumpkin pie is so fucking good. It's like it's like the fucking DiGiorno thing. Get out of here with that shit. Yeah, it's like the DiGiorno thing where they started off being like, "Bro, there is literally nothing better than like delivery pizza. We love delivery pizza. Delivery pizza is like paramount. That shit is like it is a godsend. Everybody loves it. You love it. Now you can have it even quicker, right? That's what they were working with to begin with. It's not delivery. It's DiGiorno. That's like the whole point. They're like, "Ooh, this is so good. Where did you get it?" "Oh, it's not delivery. It's DiGiorno. It's this frozen thing that I got heated up." Right? And then what they did was they changed it so that now the most recent commercials are like, they're like, "Here's delivery. It's dog shit. You hate it. We hate it. This is better. It's DiGiorno. Aren't you sick of delivery pizza drivers bouncing your pizza onto the floor?" Or whatever the fuck, right? And it's just like it is what I refer to as the advertising inversion of irony. Now, I think it's first and best exemplified with Geico, right? You get this little lizard man. He's like, he's like, "I keep getting all these calls for Geico, but I'm a gecko. There's a difference in the name. I have nothing to do with this shit, right? What are you calling me for?" Right? And eventually, because people associated the gecko with Geico, it he became the mascot anyway. Even though the whole point was that he wasn't the mascot, because the association was there, people were like, "Hey, it's the gecko from Geico," right? And then what you have is what they were making fun of, what was supposed to be ironic, ended up being the truth. Same thing with, um, the Carfax, right? It's like Carfax is Carfax. They're like, "Oh, we don't have Carfax. We have something better. It's the Carfox." And then it became the mascot. It's an inversion of irony. When it's like DiGiorno was like, "We fucking love delivery pizza. Delivery pizza is the best thing in the world." And then people didn't understand it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno as a positive thing. So they ended up inverting the irony and just being like, "Yeah, fuck delivery pizza. This is great." Go into chat. Okay, controversial take. I do like pumpkin pie, but I like apple pie better. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, I feel like they serve different purposes. Like I almost feel like pumpkin pie is like a separate entity. I almost consider it to be like closer in application to like a lemon meringue, like a liquid, like a custardy pie. It's not a custard, but you know what I mean? It is. Oh, okay, it is a custard pie. Well, I guess I was correct. Great. That's kind of the echelon that I put it in, and I eat anything close to a custard pie. That shit's amazing. But I feel like comparing apple pie and pumpkin pie directly, like I wouldn't. You know what I mean? I think they're both delicious. I would rather have both. Give me as many types of pies to consume as humanly possible, and I'll put them in my shitty mouth. It's great. Fucking love. I love pie. I love desserts. In other news, I have a dental appointment scheduled. The two appointments, I finally ended up going to the dentist after like not having the money to go to the dentist for a very, very long time. This is really bad. Um, so I went to the dentist and I have Medi-Cal, right? And it's super nice because it's like $1 for anything, right? I'm like, oh my God, that's so I can afford this. This is amazing, right? Outstanding. Haven't been able to do this in a very long time. Um, and they were like, um, all right, cool. So we did your basic exam. Let's get something scheduled for the follow up. I was like, cool. Give me Tuesdays or Thursdays because I stream. Yeah, I didn't tell them this, but like I was like, give me Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? And they're like, how about New Year's Eve? I'm like, how about not? Okay, Christmas Eve, like no. Like I know you're just throwing a shot in the dark and going off of what you see on the schedule, lady. I don't blame you. It's just funny that those were the only 2 days that they had available. And then so long story short, I have my actual like follow-up dental appointment for like January. But yeah, like it was just so funny. They're like, "Cool, yeah, set up an appointment. How about holidays immediately?" It presented both. I'll eat apple. I guess that's the controversy. That's fine. That's fine. I don't think that's a controversy. You prefer non-custard pies, given the decision between the two of them. I respect it. Um, I like apple pie. It's never really been like, you know, my absolute favorite. You know what I mean? Not to say that it's bad. It's just like I almost view it as like a default. It's really good. I really like apple pie. It's just I don't know. It's not like I don't jump at the chance. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, yeah, apple pie, great. Yeah, I also love pie. Don't you want to spend your Christmas in major mouth pain? Absolutely. Yeah, I was taught that I'm a masochist, so this is a big win for me. No, I'm literally the opposite of a masochist. I'm a spongy little baby boy. Please don't hurt me. They want my ass in jury duty on the 23rd. I'm getting my doctor to tell them to go to hell. Yes, absolutely. That is garbage. I do like the custard. But I do like custard pies. I just like other custard pies more than pumpkin pie. Now, yes, that's all right. I don't think it's controversial. It's fine. You know what I mean? Like I'm an enabler in most contexts, but like I don't think the we got to stop the presses for like pumpkin pie is not my favorite pie. You know what I mean? I have had very few. This might be controversial. I've had very few pecan pies or pecan pies that I like. I've had one, and I was like, okay, I'm not like a I'm not like a nut guy. It is November anyway. But no, like pecan pies, I don't really like. I've had one that was really good. I've had one that was really good, but in general, it doesn't like appeal to me. You know what I mean? Maybe I gotta eat more. You just determined to be a contrarian at this point? Okay, cool. We'll carry on. Or don't. How dare you? Right? Yeah, like pecan pie, I don't know. It's just like I guess I've been eating more like roasted pecans recently. I don't even know why I still have this fucking song here. I don't like the way that it starts and I don't like listening to it. Why is it even there? Anyway, Saw this shit on Instagram. Some real German shit. It's very funny. They do a lot of like analog house music. It's very fun. It's picking up too much speed. I think that's good. Ich mach mir Bass. I like how they say bass. Shut up. All right. Oh, a Twitch update's available right now as I'm streaming. Absurd. All right, let's see how we're looking, fellas. These very bisexual colors that are happening right now. I have a friend who's into tech, like making techno and electronica, and he talks about Germany as like a musical mecca. It's very interesting. And I'm just thinking about it's just interesting seeing because I've always been very Baldur's Gate patch 8. Ooh. Ooh. Very intriguing. Oh, hey, it's starting to get dark enough you can see my glowy glows. Look at that. I'm a magical boy. A little robot fella. That's pretty cool. Anyway, it's just very interesting having like such a direct connection, like a physical geographical like focal point for the genre of music that you make. You know what I mean? Like it's like this is the place to be. This is the place where it like thrives. This is where the community is incredibly strong. That kind of thing. It's very interesting because I don't have that. I was starting to say I am generally very disconnected from like geography, from culture, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Um, I'm an uncultured swine, is what I'm saying. Um, but like, I mean, like my mom's really into Celtic music, and she clings to being Celtic as like a claim to culture, and like that makes sense. I consider myself a white American, for better or for worse. You know, just like I'm just a mutt. You know what I mean? I don't really have. I'm so deluded at this point. I'm so like I'm just here. I'm just steeped in caucasity with no particular alignment or culture. But I guess the closest thing I have to culture is the fact that my great grandfather is directly from Scotland on my mom's side. Um, they were in like a Scottish vaudeville troupe or something. It was super interesting, and he died horribly, which is about all I know. My culture is goth. Yeah, sure. But I can't really say that either because I don't like most goth music. I find it either boring or outright bad. And most people are just like, you can't call yourself goth if you don't listen to music. It's a style of music, not a style of dress, not an aesthetic, you fucking poser. I'm like, okay, so listen to bad music. I'll still look cool. They're right, but also shut up. Yeah, exactly. It's, I mean, that's goths like invented. They didn't invent it, but they were like very like front runners of gatekeepy niche bullshit in a community qualifiers and like you can't be nouveau goth in here, I mean, like the nouveau reach in the fucking gentry, it's like mm-mm. Yeah, my only bar for goth, well, it's let me allow that. My only bar for goth and other alt styles is you can't be conservative. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. I agree. I agree. It's like, ugh, the sort of over where alt cultures collide and overlap with like shitty bigot views because a lot, some of them are at least assumed by white members of the community to be only no, if you do this you're white, you know what I mean, right? And then the bigotry that ensues from that and gatekeeping people of color from alt communities and shit like that's such garbage, such fucking horse shit, dude. This is looking pretty good. I think it's exactly where I want it to be, actually. It's so funny. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that's just so. It's like you really miss the point, right? And I mean that's kind of how shit goes. How shit has been going for like the since like the dawn of of time. Is that like somebody people are chilling and people are vibing in like a sort of subversive or counterculture movement, and then it it gets either appropriated or gentrified by someone who shows up, misses the point, and then starts planting flags and like telling people how to do shit. You know what I mean? It's like sort of like a cultural colonialism, right? Gentrification, shit like that. Anyway, I think I'm getting a little bit too heavy, but you get the point. You know what I mean? It's just nonsense. I wish people could learn how to mind their own business, not like try to impose and enforce their fucking views on other people. Like just chill out, man. We were perfectly fine before you got here. We'll be fine without you. Yo, are you kidding? A drunken master subclass? Oh, oh, oh. I think I need to finish Baldur's Gate and start a new file. Maybe I can start it on stream. Hmm. Could be interesting. Could be interesting. That's super cool. No, it's fine. I'm sorry to get started. I was trying to hold back, but this is not the stream for me to like. I'm feeling very very philosophical and very and kind of raw right now, so I don't know. I guess I'm primed for it. What? You can send bees or a swarm of moths? Oh, I don't want to do a dirge run. Could do a dirge run. That might fit one of my OCs better than um just trying to play other shit. Because I have an OC that's like his whole point is that he wants to become a devil, and I kind of was flavoring that like, ooh, romance historian. I love Neil Newbon. I love him so much. He's great. It's like the more shit you see about him, and the more you see, you more you like learn about Astarion and everything like that. Like, how can you not just adore them? The actor and the character separately. Like, they're so great. I will think about it. I will think about it. I gotta finish Regis's playthrough on my own, and then I will think about what days. Because I was thinking about doing not a massive overhaul, but like a pretty like cutting back a few hours for some streams, so I don't burn out, and adjusting what days I do what and stuff like that. And keep Monday around probably, um, but maybe do like 3 hour streams, maybe 4 hour streams tops. Because the 5 hours is not only it is definitely I expected it to be taxing, it is, but the thing that really kind of pushed me further towards the idea of cutting back is just the sheer amount of shit that Moxie has to sift through because she's being an angel and a saint and editing the videos down into little highlights. and then further into TikTok highlights and stuff like that. Um, and it's 5 hours. It's just so much shit to sift through. So maybe three would work. Thank you, thank you. I like doing things month to month, being like whatever I decide, do it for a month, and then you know adjust month by month, and it makes it feel very organic and very much like I am seasoning it to taste, which is my favorite term because I do that. I think it's a very very good way to adjust things. Is just like, okay, cool, like do it, see it, perceive it, taste it. What does it need, right? Like music, art, animation, scheduling, stuff like that. Season to taste. I love it. It's part of the process of making food that you want to eat, which is my number one recommendation and advocacy for artists and creators of any kind. Because it's like, do something that you would be excited to see, do something that you would enjoy having in the world. You know what I mean? Yes. Believe it. Oh boy, that takes me back. Okay, so you, and then boom, right there. One, two, three. I haven't seen Naruto in so fucking long, dude. I can't believe it's not still going technically, but it is in Boruto. I don't know shit about Boruto. I do know that there was one there's one walk cycle that was literally like if you had him on a stick and he was like so he was like it was like that. Like you could tell that they didn't even draw different frames. They just had Homeboy doing this and going ba 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 ba. Because I'm in a Discord and I follow a couple of people who are actual like animators. They're people I didn't know this until recently. Anime companies are outsourcing to Twitter animators now. Like you'll see a section with that looks like it's full of usernames in the credits. That's because they are. Those are people that they found on Twitter. They were like, "Hey, you could do enough. We need bodies, and we need to undercharge people. We're not underpay people." But like that's not what they say, but it's what they do basically, from what I understand. Like not slinging accusations in my limited understanding, but I'm just hearing about this shit secondhand, and it was just such a fucking inside joke. They were just like, "Oh my god, you see that? You see Boruto episode like fucking 173 or whatever." He's like, it's just like they're poking fun at it. It's so funny. Anime industry is fucking wild, man. I would not want to work there. Like everybody's like, "Oh man, yeah, I love anime," right? Like if you're into anime, you're like, "Oh man, I would love to do some work in the anime industry." It's like you don't. You absolutely do not. I do not. I'm kind of fed up with a lot of mainstream anime anyway. There's a lot of really good shit that came out recently that I have to take a gander at, but like it's like I don't know. I feel like a lot of it has kind of devolved into kind of like self-referential shit, and it's very frustrating. When it's like you're not doing this for the purpose of telling a story, you're doing this because it's a thing that you're supposed to do in anime. That kind of shit fucking pisses me off. It's like, come on, man. Again, it's just old man shakes fist at God, but like, I know I'm a fucking curmudgeon, but like really, this shit means a lot to me, storytelling and animation especially, and it's just a shame to me that there's a lot of shit that will simply not see the light of day unless it is like made in a very caustic and like often problematic industry. Like there's still people who are doing like indie films, like in indie animations and stuff like that, and it's beautiful, it's wonderful. Um, but like it's hard, man. It's a lot of time to invest, and there's not a lot of like you pretty much have film festivals and YouTube and then Netflix, right? If you're not like already a part of an industry of some kind. Like Cartoon Network went fucking belly up, man. That's crazy. Like they're still doing shit with like Max, but like the actual studio's closed. That was crazy to me. Crazy. It put a lot of people out of work super suddenly too. It was wild. All right, time has come for me to make these invisible. And we are nearing a like closing in on the final stretch. That's what I was trying to say. Boom, boop, 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 boop. Fuck. Oh yeah, switch to okay, cool. Studio Pen is active. It's kind of soft, crunchy pixel outlines remind me of the Game Boy Advance, like Game Boy Advance Kirby's and stuff like that. That's probably my favorite era for pixel art is Game Boy Advance. I do really like kind of like mid 90s Neo Geo. Like I don't know if y'all have ever seen or played the game Blazing Star. It's if you're into mecha, if you're into, anime, giant robots and shit, I highly recommend taking a look at a long play or downloading the game yourself. If you like bullet hells, it's so much fun. It's like one of my favorite flying shooters. And it's really funny because it was like in this random pizza joint in Redwood City. It was like one of those chain pizza places, Round Table Pizza. I don't remember shit except that Blazing Star was there, is in an arcade cabinet, and that I almost choked on a stretchy piece of mozzarella on a cheese pizza. I was like, oh, it was fine, it was fine, but it was really like those are the two things I remember about Round Table Pizza. Um, Tasted pretty good when I wasn't choking on it, or maybe even when I was choking on it. Anyway, it was like this kind of fever dream. I was like, did I remember this correctly? Am I remembering the same thing? Right? Is this real? And I remember these like sick ass fucking like pixel art graphics and like these crazy like elaborate machines, and the fact that you could like charge your laser and it'll do different things depending on what ship you were piloting, which was just really fucking cool. Um, and then it ended right as I was thinking about it. For some reason, it ended up becoming available on like the Switch, and I was like, "The fuck." Whatever caused this to occur, thanks, I guess. Thanks for listening to my fucking thoughts, you weirdo. Um, and then I played it again. It's just as fucking good as I remembered it. Great era for pixel art. Very like, we can't do 3D. We would if we could. Here's some crazy high rendered pixel art. Like that's kind of the vibe. It's like that Metal Slug, which is also Neo Geo. Um, those are really strong contenders, and those have a lot of meaning to me and a lot of significance. Um, but yeah, I think Game Boy Advance is my favorite. Like fucking Metroid Zero Mission and Metroid Fusion. Oof, the fucking like little tiny cutscenes and stuff. Oof, it just looked so good. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Not my favorite Kirby game per se, but the art was fantastic. Nightmare in Dreamland's a great game. Um, yeah, Game Boy Advance to Nintendo DS. Those were like super impactful to me as a kid. Uh, really loved that aesthetic. I think what is it? I think the DS. was like I don't remember the classification for bits. I'm sure if Idnit comes back, he'd be able to tell me. Um, but like yeah, whatever resolution the DS was, I think it's like 128 by 128. It's like it's very dense, but it's still pixel art. I've been thinking about my DS is kind of fucked. Like my 3DS is kind of fucked. Like the A button doesn't work and stuff like that. But I was thinking about seeing if I could figure out a way to stream Flipnote. Because even after getting acquainted with all these, like with these actual quote unquote actual programs and stuff like that, Flipnote 3D just hit so different and still was one of my favorite. Like it was so simple and straightforward, but also had actually kind of the capacity to deliver really high quality shit within pixel art. Like KK Jamon. I don't know if you follow him. He does a lot of. He does. He's the guy who does the little French gentleman who looks like Snoop Dogg, and animates adorable little birds and like wolves and shit. Like he's most popular for his like little bouncing bird loops. He does a lot of really good like Kirby animations, but everything he does is on Flipnote, and he's kind of elevated it to a new height. You know what I mean? He is elevated it to like a full art form. It's like he is to Flipnote what Jason Shimabukuro is to the ukulele. No one thought you could play ukulele like that until this motherfucker came in and he's playing while my guitar, or parentheses, ukulele gently weeps. I didn't even know you could do that. You know what I mean? It's like it's so equal parts like commendable and absurd, and it's wonderful. Go. Descent of great. So I'm almost at the top layer. I need to make sure that it spreads out enough. But yeah, I was thinking about figuring out a way to service my if I ever have any coins to rub together. I was thinking about maybe refurbishing my 3DS in some regard and figuring out how to animate with Flipnote again because it is just such a good program. So powerful in spite of its size. There we go. I love Tuxedo. Such a fun band. I think I need to make more like explicitly dancey shit. I think it would get me out of my head a little bit. Something that kind of encouraged me. Not that I was like not making things just whatever the fuck came out of my head anyway, but like um something that kind of invigorated me to keep like experimenting with different styles and shit musically is uh Led Zeppelin. There's a bunch of recorded Led Zeppelin songs that are like disco. You know what I mean? Because they were musicians of all like of a very high caliber. They could play anything, right? So they did. They played a when they were kind of figuring shit out before they were kind of encouraged to pursue this sort of hard rock. I guess hard rock for that time and like psychedelia, you know, woven rock and roll that they ended up being known for. Um, Apparently, there are like recordings of them doing all sorts of different shit, you know, like pop and like disco and stuff like that. And I would be absolutely fucking enthralled by that as a possibility to listen to. Such like a, especially considering the sort of reputation that Led Zeppelin's like estate, I guess you could call it, has for being like lock and key, cloak and dagger, and just like destroying any and all like DMCA claims and shit like that with deep prejudice. That really intrigues me. Very, very well guarded sound, and I'm very curious about what stuff they were working on, you know? It's very tantalizing to me. Make sure I don't. It's this part. This is the part that's always the most difficult. Is trying not to overlap or make it look like anything's moving backwards. Getting all the little doots accounted for. Part of me is doing this for the sake of my own like visibility, and part of me is doing it like I'm like if I offset these a little bit, it'll cause like a bit of a little wiggle as they're ascending, which I think could be really cool looking. But also I'm like kind of like peeking around. Anyone who is in an ad break, welcome back. If you're going in ad break now, gotta have mercy on your soul. I'm still really torn about like I need to look into it about like if I can do something to manage the ad. It's like I need to determine how much I'm actually making on the ads that they're showing with this current slot, and if it's not a lot, I'm just gonna fucking reduce it because it's just really no point in potentially discouraging viewers if they don't want to sit through the fucking ad breaks. You know what I mean? Oh, there it goes. All subscribers, thank you for subscribing. If you can hear me now, that means you're a subscriber. Or that the ad break got desynced from my notification of it, which would be really annoying, but not unexpected, honestly. There we go. Yeah, it's just like it's a gauntlet, you know what I mean? Like people don't want to fucking sit through that shit. Like I'm stubborn. Um so I'll just like, oh, if I'm here it's for my friend and I'm just going to like mute it, whatever the fuck, I don't care. But like people who are like people I don't know, I probably wouldn't. I'd be like, nah, really, like you're not worth me wasting another fucking 8 minutes of my life. I'll probably just diminish it whether or not I'm making a profit. I don't know. All right, let's turn on the visibility. I think I only have one more layer, and I should be able to finish that in an hour and 20, provided my shit maintains its battery that long. We shall see. Oops. Let's see how it looks. All right, pretty good. The the effect is going to be a lot stronger when I don't have this layer completely transparent to see what the fuck is going on in the in the particles themselves. So we'll see. I think it's pretty accurate to the source material at this point. I think the effect looks good. I might slow it down, as I may have mentioned before, but I think it's getting there. It's in a good spot. No, not a mask, you buffoon. And cute. There we go. Like the amount that I need followers drastically outweighs the amount that I need ad revenue right now. And it's not between enough people. At most that I have like what on like a really really fantastic day I have like fuck 8 to 10 viewers maximum. You know what I mean? Like that's a really good day. Most of the time it's like two or three. It's not gonna be enough. Now that I'm thinking about it in those terms, it's not really enough to matter by any means, right? Like so I might as well just like help out my homies by not forcing and any potential new viewers by not forcing them to sit through a bunch of bullshit. Okay, one, two in, and then this should start coming apart. And these I probably have to disperse really aggressively because I want it to feel like that like cloud that you see in the original meme. I might very well have to add more layers behind these, but I think this is a great start, if nothing else. All right, now we remove the other layers. This is very science stuff. It really is, though. I knew this was going to be a tough one, um, which is why I was comfortable, like charging a fairly reasonable amount for it, even though it was, I mean, not reasonable by anyone else's standards, I'm sure. I'm positive I'm undercharging it at any given moment because I fucking, I can't stand, I don't know why. It's weird. It's just underselling myself in general. So get them while they're hot, folks. Now's the time to accidentally exploit me as I exploit myself. Anyway, I just don't know. Like it's very difficult to. I've talked about. I was just talking about earlier on stream. About like I'm very bad at prioritizing myself, and like imposition. I think is a big. It's a word brought up before. I think that's like a big, like a fundamental element to sort of a lot of my behaviors. It's just too much. You know what I mean? I don't know. Oops. Yeah, it is. And it manifests itself so differently, within the same, even within one person, it can take so many different forms and different avenues to fuck with you. It's really hard to, it's like, shut the door. Now they're coming through the window. Now shut the window. Now they're coming through the doors. That kind of shit. I love vocal chops. They're so funny. The VOD watcher's gonna think I'm losing my goddamn mind. It's like those videos, the edits of like my favorite of all time is probably like Mick Jagger doing like a music video and he's just goobering around and someone removed all of the music and basically like made it as if he was just some dude who was like dancing to himself and you can hear all the shoe noises and the clothing noises shuffling around and stuff like that and he's singing really quietly to himself. Oh, dancing in the street, no music. Dancing in the street without music, that's the if you look it up on YouTube, that shit is so unbelievably funny. It's like a perfect synopsis of like my brain rot sense of humor. YouTube poop shit, like oh my god. It's so funny. Such a simple concept ends up just like being insanely surreal. Singer in this song is Kimbra, who was the featured artist in Somebody That I Used to Know. And she does a lot. She's a very interesting discography. And this is like her and Corey Wong. I was not expecting. Corey Wong's like a kind of like modern funk guitar darling. Got a lot of notoriety from the band Wolfpack, which is phenomenal. Really just classic funk. They even had like Bernard Purdy, that drummer who was like that bitch. He was the guy to get for a session drummer. Like he played with Aretha Franklin, Steely Dan, stuff like that. He played with Wolfpack, and I was like, you guys must have been so happy to have him on a track. But yeah, Wolfpack uh, kind of brought people's attention to Corey Wong, and he ended up doing his own stuff. And it's all good. And I was not I was not expecting Kimbra to be a part of it. That song rules, in my opinion. There we go. Theoretically, this is the last segment that I'm going to animate particles for. And then we will. I'm going to make a duplicate because I don't trust. Um, and then I will go ahead and color it in and stuff properly as opposed to its sort of layer delineation. Before I do that, I might actually have to uh, take another break to get this thing to charge. And honestly, I would love for you guys to be around to see the finished product, but it's already been a very low energy day for me. And I got a couple of things to work on and an iPad that is probably at 5% right now. Shit fucking pisses me off, man. But all the more reason to do slightly shorter streams next month, especially with holidays and shit cropping up. It's going to be a very taxing time for a lot of us. Um, Perhaps literally because, as is exemplified by at least one person in chat and a couple people in my household, um, pets really like getting sick in very expensive ways during the holidays. And so we should all be knocking on wood for our little furry friends and the owners thereof that expenses are minimal. Like I heard it from a vet. One of my very very dear friends is a vet, and she always talks about it. Like she's talked about it before. It's like, yeah, man, they wait. Absolutely, take care of yourselves. Anyway, y'all can unwind tonight. Do it, man. I'm looking forward to just kicking up my damn feet. I think I got a couple things aside from the turkey brine to worry about, but that's about it. Got to get some energy before tomorrow. I'm basically gonna just work until the iPad decides it's time. Should be just about there. It's funny, I find myself like on days where when I'm not streaming a particular like I've started making music on Music Mondays, right? And there's so much of me that's just like, well, if I'm not if I'm not like streaming, I don't even like want to fucking do it, right? And I always do this. I need to like there needs to be an active quote unquote excuse or like context for me to get motivated to do anything. Otherwise, I just sit and I collect moss on me. It's just like it's so fucking annoying. It's just like, oh, you have time to work on your music now. It's like, shut up, man. God damn it. You get your shit together. Super fucking frustrating. Getting there. This person's voice reminds me of my good friend Ella Cooley. Just a sensational performer. Really just like a good fucking person too. Wherever you are, I hope you're doing well, Ella. You and your pup. I think she has a pup. That's been a minute. I guess not that good friends. Sorry. I'm so bad at keeping up with like people when they're not immediately next to me. It's like every once in a while I wonder. It's like I wonder how many people just think I just like don't like them or don't care because I'm elsewhere. It's like nah, bro. You gotta understand. It is a complete out of sight, out of mind situation. There's nothing personal at all. I apologize. That's just how it is, you know. How else am I gonna make room in my brain for Pokemon and shit? All the stupid factoids that are crammed into my silly bitch noggin. There we go. There he goes. Lamentably, I think I have to add at least one more. Well, let me see what it looks like slowed down to like 12 half speed, because that's kind of like what the GIF looks like anyway. It's like it was clearly made for 24 FPS and they slowed it way the fuck down. All right, let me turn out the opacity here and start erasing. And I might even have enough time to do that before this shit crashes, but we'll see. Timers rule my life. Timers everywhere. This is probably going to be all erased. Yeah, I kind of realized that everybody feels like that. Well, having friends as an adult is hard. Yeah, I think once you hit like 27 to 30, that's when shit really starts just kind of spreading out and isolating. And it's not like, depending on who you are, it's going to affect you differently, right? Like me, I'm kind of cool with it. I'm just like, dude, it's just I'm so fucking like tired and busy. Like whatever, man. Okay, I'm going to make all of these. I'm going to turn these into the same color, that same kind of black. Might be the wrong order to be doing this, but you know what? We'll figure it out. it just me or am I paranoid? Is such a fucking good line. 5%, 5% chat. Oh my god in heaven. I just want this to be I want it to be the same color before I finish. And I think I could do that because it's just me hitting the button a couple times. There we go. Come on, baby boy. All right, let's turn off onion skin real quick. Okay. Fill layer, fill layer, fill layer, fill layer. Quickly. There's no time. I've been thinking about doing my 30-minute animations again. This is not a promise, by the way. This is just an idle thought with very nebulous chances of fulfillment. Um, but for those of you who don't know, for about 6 months to a year, it was a while there. I did a an animation, whatever I could, whatever I felt like, in 30 minutes every day for like months, and it elevated my shit so quickly and so distinctly. It was a great idea, apparently. But I ended up tripping. I started tripping about how good it looked instead of just trying to like doing as much as possible in as little time as possible. And it was just like if I did anything less than like a professional looking animation, which you can't really, like you got to focus on motion. And I ended up like I started getting more and more obsessed with the the product, you know what I mean? Like the aesthetics of it. And I think it actively did like I shot myself in the foot. So this song's really fucking good. Um but I ended up tripping about the appearance of it more than the actual like exercise, and I kind of fell off utterly. I was like, well, now maybe I'll use this time and this motivation to do more like bigger projects, and I just like haven't. God damn, it's so irritating. I could, but I just don't. Okay, okay. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's see what we got. Let's do. I think I'll go back to the Vine charcoal that I was using before. All right. There we go. I'm gonna figure out how to color this. Okay. I'll do this, and then I'll do this. Well, can't see none. Okay. Ah, that actually works. Okay. Whoop. What the fuck? Oh, I see. Mask. Clipping mask. There we go. So this is when it starts, and then everything after that will have none of this. And that'll work. Should work. Okay. Come on. It's pretty good. There it goes. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Let's put a background because the one of the things that makes it so funny and so effective is the white background, for better or for worse for our eyes. There it goes. See, it looks like a little sped up. I think it's better slower. Let's try 15. I think maybe there's something I gotta do. Beep. Yeah, I'm gonna lower the opacity on that a little bit so that it kind of fades away instead of it kind of jittering for a little bit there. I think maybe I will. Hmm. I think honest to God, I just have to add. I don't mind the I was thinking about shading these individually. I don't think that's necessary. I'm gonna look at the GIF again. Let's see. So this song, uh, when I was in, my wife and I were both in the same dance class. He's like, you know, it was an elective in high school, and when we were when we were kids, there were DVDs, and those just if you are small and young enough that you've never experienced a Blu-ray or DVD menu, it especially a homemade one, it loops one part of a different like a different part of a song depending on where you are in the menu, right? And apparently the teacher didn't realize that Feel Good Inc. one of the divisions that it was in, or one of the little sections of the DVD menu just said ass cracks, you know, because lining them up like ass cracks. And so every time she got to that part of the DVD menu, it's like lining them up like ass cracks. And so we heard it like 5 times, and everybody in the class was just busting up laughing. So fucking funny. All right, back to it. Let's just do a new one, this, and I'll just make one in response to sort of each of these. it's really interesting once you know kind of what to look for in like say old school Disney and stuff like that, right? Um, you'll recognize like one specific animator's handiwork for things like the way one dude did like for example I guess Sleepy Hollow, Ichabod Crane and shit when he's sprinkling like paprika onto an egg, you could tell it's the same motherfucker who did the like any particle effect. He was like the guy. I don't know his name, but you recognize it when you see it. You're like, oh man, hey, I remember that looks really familiar. Whoa, it's because it's like anything like that. Like you could tell, like the same dude did the water effect for all of the golden age, like Disney, like in Fantasia, with the broomsticks and shit, dumping the buckets of water. You could tell that's like the same dude. Oh, I'm not in the mood for you right now, Mary J. Blige. Love you. Get out of here. But yeah, I just like that. It's like he's the guy who does water effects. He's the guy who does little sprinkly thingies. You need fairy dust? I got you, homie. It's the kind of thing that you see in an animation studio and not really many other places. It's kind of fun. I love that some animators have specialties. Yeah, they hired a special animator for the Steven Universe finale when Steven spins in a circle. Apparently, they specialized in super smooth movement. Yes, James Baxter, I believe. Yeah, he is the guy for a lot of shit in Cartoon Network. They wanted him for an episode of I don't know how it came about. I don't know the story behind it, but I do remember the episode and I remember the name of the animator because of the episode. It was like it was like a little horse on a beach ball, and he was just kind of walking around. He said, "James Baxter, James Baxter." That's what he did, and it got animated by James Baxter, and he clearly is just like he's just so fucking good. But yeah, I remember that moment where they're like, "Oh my god." They needed it to hit as hard as humanly possible. They're like, "Who we got? James Baxter. Get over here, man. Heavy hitter. We need a fucking haymaker. We need somebody who can spin like a motherfucker. Get in there." It's so cool. I'm still such a like I've come a long way, but I'm still definitely a beginner in terms of animating and stuff. I've been drawing for a while, so I'm not new to art, but like in terms of hi Maeve, in terms of animation, I'm still definitely like very very green, a little wet behind the ears, as they say. So I'm curious. It's kind of fun to think about like what's my specialty gonna be. I really like expressions and I like smear frames. Those are the things that I like, and so I have a natural inclination towards drawing them. But I don't know how. Same thing with music. I've just always it must be something I'm doing or not doing that ends up making it so that I keep being in these fields that encourage collaboration, and I'm just the fuck alone. I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Do I smell? I don't know. I think I smell pretty good. My wife seems to think I smell good. I'm generally hygienic. What is so offensive about my disposition, right? I don't know. But I always end up like I've never been in a band, even though I've played music for like fucking almost 20 years at this point. It's the ADHD? Shit. Damn you, ADHD. Just the inability to follow up or retain any like momentum or anything. Is that it? It's a damn shame. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. It would have given us a chance to hang out with Marcello more too. I miss that fucker. My buddy pal, buddy boy. Yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah, that's true. And it's a damn shame, having someone that I'm inseparable with and love so much being so high risk. because we don't know what would happen to her if, my wife caught COVID. Nothing good though. Like she already has respiratory issues and shit like that, and issues with her immune system and shit. So like it would all be bad. And that makes it so that I can't really relax in any capacity in terms of like hanging out with other people. Like we couldn't do a studio session without me feeling weird. Good old twerp. Wow, that's crazy. I'm so happy for him and Julia. They're so cute. Like it's absurd actually. There it goes. What do you think? I think I'm going to see about duplicating this, combining it down, alpha lock, giving it a white outline. Let's do like, let's do two. All right, this is at one. Let's combine down and again, fill layer. Let's do one. So it's like a slight increase every time. I think he's gonna like this effect because I like this effect. Fill, alpha lock off, Gaussian blur. Very slight this time. There we go. Flatten that. Combine down from the previous group. Fill that. Boom. Getting to the point where it's almost perceptible. And flatten that again. Combine down. Fill layer. Gaussian blur. Whoop. Whoops. Combine down. That looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good, actually. So I'm gonna make sure that that little effect is present in the entirety of it. Oh, there it goes. Lights out, folks. We'll see how much it's saved of that, but I think it probably auto saved recently enough that it's not an issue. Yeah. All right. Well, my friends, thank you. Appreciate it. It's okay. It's okay. It started to I just put a sea urchin in a fish tank and you can put hats on them. So I gave them a little witch hat. That is accurate. I actually did I was working on a game jam and it's called Fish Tank Fight Night. It ended up kind of underbaked in terms of the actual like playability department because the programmer like it was me working like a fucking bat out of hell. Um my buddy who's a sound designer kicking ass and taking names, and then this amazingly cool dude who can program really well getting swallowed alive and fucking like just a litany of work projects that he couldn't avoid. So he was sleepless and didn't have any time. And so he did what he could. It ended up being playable. It's on itch.io. It's called Fish Tank Fight Night. You play as this little guy called Manny Shrimp that I made. Um, but the reason I bring it up is because amongst all of the little enemies that I made like a little moving and grooving anemone that spat little things. I think bubbles. And I made, among others, I made a sea urchin, and I gave it like you give like four different hats that it can spawn with and stuff like that. I don't even know if they ended up making it into the game, but it was really fun. Um, I had all these ideas for like game design and shit. I was like, oh, this is the sea urchin you can't punch because it's fucking covered in spikes, stuff like that. It's just like I had these ideas for movement patterns and stuff, and like just it's just none of it got incorporated because of time. Um, Thank you. I fucking love Manny Shrimp, and I mean, me and my buddy Z Kasai, the sound designer, we're talking about like we could easily finish this game, but we've both, just as we mentioned earlier in chat, ADHD'd our way out of actually finishing it. I'm gonna snooze this ad. Get out of here, because I'm about to dip. My shit is completely dead. So c'est la vie. Um, But yeah, thank you guys for swinging by. Um, I know it was a probably pretty tired, mellow stream to its own detriment, but I enjoyed making something fun, good having people in and out every once in a while. I will give you more news about what I'm planning to do for my birthday next week on Friday. I'll probably be in a an ongoing food coma following tomorrow's festivities and stress and cleanup. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be doing more work. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming. Um, I'm going to be doing more Resident Evil 4 Classic on Freaky Friday. I think it's going to be a really good time. I don't think I'm going to finish it yet because it is a long game, but I think I'm almost there. I'm gonna try to finish the castle on Friday, and hopefully the game by next Friday. Um, and we'll see how shit shakes down. If you're not already a part of it, join the Discord here. It's a great little community that we're building, full of artists and craftspeople and enthusiasts and just generally chill, mostly queer, lovely individuals. The more the merrier. Come on down. We're always having a goof and a gaff and talking about silly shit and sharing art with each other. If you want to support me, especially now because it's the holidays, Patreon, you can become a member for as little as $1. Not too many perks just now. It's just if you want to support me, want to help me keep doing what I'm doing, you like what I'm all about. Any little bit helps. Um, if you want actual commissions, they're all on Ko-fi or Coffee. Get yourself a coffee. Check out what I've got available. If you don't see something that catches your interest there, just DM me. We can work something out. I'm always down to share ideas and work on commissions. Sorry, I'm doing the jiggle and it's causing the webcam to freak out. Um, but with all that said, I must bid you adieu. Peace and love to all of you, and I will see you on Friday. Okay. Take care, y'all. Bye.